Hey everyone, Jim Branscombe here, back again for another edition of In the Mouth of Cinemadness. This is a sub-series of the Cinematic Void vlog where I talk about different films and media that I watched either growing up or when I was in college or at different parts of my life that had a profound effect on me and basically was the genesis, DNA, building blocks, however you want to word it, that would eventually become Cinematic Void. Now today we're going to be talking about a TV show, and not just any TV show, my all-time favorite TV show, which is Murder, She Wrote. Now, if you've followed me on social media, you've seen me post a lot about Murder, She Wrote, and I, feel like I'm on an endless rewatch of it. It's really my comfort show. Now, when I first came across Murder, She Wrote, it wasn't something that I was actively seeking out or wanting to watch. Back in the day on the USA Network, home of USA Up All Night and all kinds of cool stuff, I used to watch pro wrestling, and I don't want to say it was like the early days of Monday Night Raw. It might have been a different WWF product, but I remember tuning in to watch pro wrestling, WWF pro wrestling, and the lead-in show before wrestling was Murder, She Wrote.
Who done it?
Did you manage to get a look?
Murder, She Wrote, on USA, tonight at 8, 7 Central.
And I would always tune in like maybe 5-10 minutes early, so I would always catch the ending of Murder, She Wrote, where basically Jessica Fletcher, played by Angela Lansbury, would meet up with the killer, explain how she figured out that person was the killer, and then the cops would show up and arrest the guy.
Because no one could have gotten into the box without your key.
Even though it was very formulaic, I enjoyed catching that last 5 and 10 minutes, and sometimes I would tune in a little early and catch a little bit more of it. And then over the years, I lost interest in pro wrestling, and obviously by default, I wasn't really watching Murder, She Wrote. But it kind of stuck with me, and maybe it was the theme song, maybe it was the opening, maybe it was kind of like those cool kind of horror thriller aspects of it, but it was something that was always in the back of my mind, and not in a negative, cheesy way. It was just that was enjoyable for whatever reason. And as I was becoming more of a cinephile, I started noticing Angela Lansbury in different movies, and of course, anytime she popped up, the first thing I thought of was Murder, She Wrote. But then I would see her in The Manchurian Candidate, where she's absolutely incredible and plays this really evil, manipulative character, which is so unlike nice and friendly Jessica Fletcher. And there's other movies like The World of Henry Orion, and obviously some of the Disney stuff like Bedknobs and Broomsticks, but I always had this association with Murder, She Wrote, but I also thought it was really cool that she had this dynamic range and was in really cool movies as well. So over the course of starting Cinematic Void and doing January Giallo, I kind of started feeling like maybe there was some weird connection between Murder, She Wrote and Giallo films, and lo and behold, I kind of put on a couple episodes, and obviously I had no memory of what episodes I saw as a kid, but I started noticing there was, some black glove killers, there was some thriller, horror, like Giallo moments in them. I don't know if they're direct homages to Giallo films, probably not, more for maybe the Hitchcock or other kind of thriller stuff, but I started noticing this connection, and I started watching more and more Murder, She Wrote, and I started becoming obsessed by it and just finding all these weird connections, and it kind of made me love the show even more. And there's a whole other reasons why I really just kind of got into and became obsessed with Murder, She Wrote. For one, the show is filled with tons of 80s genre and horror actors, as well as film actors from the film noir days. Now, as a fan of filming locations, as well as the Universal Studios Hollywood Tram Tour, I was very happy when I realized that section of the Murder, She Wrote opening sequence, that's actually just part of the Jaws attraction in the tram tour. So yeah, there goes Jessica Fletcher, and then out in the water is Jaws ready to eat someone. And I don't know, it's just I'm a nerd. I think that's cool and weird and all that kind of stuff. And of course, as I've been doing the Cinematic Void vlog and filming locations, obviously I need to at some point go visit the exterior location of Jessica Fletcher's house in Murder, She Wrote. It's up in Mendocino, California, which is a 9-hour drive away from LA, or I think maybe 3.5 hour drive if I fly to San Francisco and then drive from there. I don't know when I'm going to do that, but that's definitely on my agenda to do it at some point. But beyond being obsessed with the show itself, I also kind of became obsessed when I started realizing some of the actors that I have done Q&As with over the course of Cinematic Void, the 8.5 years, had, guest starring roles on Murder, She Wrote. And by my count, and if it's accurate, there's 20 different actors I've done Q&As with at this point that were in either a episode or multiple episodes of Murder, She Wrote. And some of those names include Stephen Mock, Wings Hauser, Clu Gulager, Colleen Camp, Meg Foster, Terry Kaiser, Peter Jason, Dee Wallace, Caroline Williams, Kelly Maroney, Jill Sholin, Diane Franklin, and Barry Primus. At some point, once I figure out the logistics, I would love to do some kind of Murder, She Wrote themed event for Cinematic Void, get some of the actors that were on the show back in the day, show clips, and of course I would want to do this event during January Giallo because hey, I think Murder, She Wrote is a perfect example of a Giallo TV show. As I said, I'm on a continuous, never-ending rewatch of Murder, She Wrote. I'm not watching it every night, but like if I need a go-to kind of comfort show, it's going to be Murder, She Wrote. In fact, just in case I don't have internet or all that kind of stuff, physical media. So that's going to wrap up this edition of In the Mouth of Cinemadness. Sound off the comments. Tell me about the first time you remember seeing Murder, She Wrote, and are you still a big fan, and are you just watching the show on an endless loop like I am, like a maniac? And if you like this video or like the content on this channel or whatever, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe. You know, every little bit helps. Until next time, see you in the void.